GOP group says Harris cannot be president due to slavery. What are they up to? This Republican group suggests Kamala can't be president because of a 170-year-old Supreme Court decision, likens her to a slave. Horrible reminder of the impact of the Dred Scott decisions. Dred Scott versus Sanford declared that slaves weren't U.S. citizens and thus not protected by the federal government. National Federation of Republican Assemblies, NFRA, has cited the infamous 1857 Dred Scott Supreme Court decision, which stated that enslaved people weren't citizens, to argue that Vice President Kamala Harris is ineligible to run for president according to the Constitution. Independent with this reporting. Republican group's platform and policy document noted that the constitutional qualifications of presidential eligibility states that no person except a natural-born citizen shall be eligible, or a citizen of the United States at the time of adoption of this Constitution shall be eligible to the office of president. And the document didn't stop at Kamala Harris. The NFRA's platform document argued that several states, candidates, major political parties have ignored this fundamental presidential qualification, including candidates Nikki Haley, Vivek Ramaswamy, Kamala Harris, whose parents were not American citizens at the time of their birth. Now, this sounds crazy to a lot of people out there. It does. Well, here's the document as proof citing Dred Scott versus Sanford. And it's redlined for you there, pointing out certain things, precedent-setting U.S. Supreme Court cases below. And there you have the reference, including calling out Kamala Harris. Now, the Constitution states that only natural-born citizens can be president. Harris was born and raised in Oakland, California. Under their own reasoning, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, other founding fathers wouldn't be eligible since they were born of parents from British colonies. Candace McDuffie, our friend with the root there, pointing it out.
With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show.
They have no limits, Dina, okay? On the one hand, they're telling us that slavery was a good thing. Slavery developed Black people, uncivilized, enslaved people, and allowed them to learn a trade. It made life better. It wasn't so bad. There's books here in Georgia that reference for school children that singing and fellowship made the long, hot work days seem short. Propaganda. What do you make of this tired, nasty, other type of filing?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's definitely racism. In case anybody forgot, she's biracial. This is basically their way of saying that, just like Jesse Waters' reminder that she's a woman, in case people forget that. But in terms of the law, because I've actually been asked this question, people are worried, like, is this actually something we should worry about? There are things to worry about in this election that the Republicans are bringing, especially out in Georgia with the election board. This is not one of them. The Dred Scott decision was overturned long ago. Natural born citizen means if you are born in this country. But the reason why this is coming up is there is an effort in the Republican Party to change that and to say, if you are a child of an immigrant, then you are not a natural born citizen, and not just for the right to be able to become president, but for other rights in our country. It's their way of what they think is trying to keep the country more white. And the fact is that it would require basically the Supreme Court to change the interpretation of it. So this is where elections matter, because the next president could nominate one or more Supreme Court justices. And we have some really extreme justices on that court: Alito, Thomas, Gorsuch. Who knows what they would do? I mean, we wouldn't have thought that they would overturn Roe, a very settled law regarding abortion. So today, for this election, that issue is only on the table in terms of the Supreme Court. But this issue is not going to go away. There is an effort in the Republican Party to change how we give rights to citizenships, to make it more difficult for people who are immigrants' children, essentially.
Well, on the one hand, I appreciate your legal analysis here because it sounds like we can put this just on the back burner a little bit as we barrel towards November. On the other hand, if the NFRA decides to take Clarence Thomas out on a yacht, okay, who knows? And there are others who join him. They could actually try to moonwalk back rights and citizenship, and it is batty. It's batty. This is keep destroying the country that's already not perfect. This is what these people seem hell bent on doing. What are we going to be left with? Rhetorically, I ask.